You may remember from the dailies yesterday, if you had a look at them, there was a caricature of this debate. And right behind you was a huge elephant, a very, very big elephant towering over all the candidates. We now want to bring the elephant into the room, and that is the ICC question. And I want to begin with Uhuru Kenyatta. Your trial for crimes against humanity begins in April. For 2 minutes, Honorable Kenyatta, provide the public with a clear plan of how you intend to govern if elected president, and at the same time attend trial as a crimes against humanity suspect.
Thank you. And I have said this severally. First and foremost, the issue of the crimes that we are accused of. We have not been found guilty in any way whatsoever. This is an ongoing case, and we and my deputy have made it very clear that it is indeed our intention to follow the process through and to ensure that we clear our names. At the same time, we are offering ourselves in a position of leadership in this country, a position that we believe and we want to pass on to Kenyans, an agenda that will first and foremost ensure that the kind of things that caused the problems of 2007 are put to an end, and to really be able to focus on the critical issues that face the people of Kenya. As I have said, the issue of poverty, the issue of unemployment, lack of basic services. And it is on that platform that we are campaigning. Now, like with everybody else, and I'm getting there, like with everything else.
We need some clarity, Honorable Kenyatta.
Yes.
The question is, how will you govern if elected president, in the first round, for example, your trial is in April?
I was getting to that point, and what I was saying is that the way it currently is, many Kenyans are faced with personal challenges, and I take this as a personal challenge. I'm sure that my colleagues here also have other challenges. But those challenges do not prevent one from continuing with their day-to-day job. If the people of Kenya do decide to vote for me as their president, I will be able to handle the issue of clearing my name, while at the same time ensuring that the business of government continues, our manifesto and our agenda for Kenya is implemented, and furthermore, even if we look at the current situation, the ICC itself, in recognition of the fact that there may be this issue, are even saying we can move this case closer by. In 2 days' time, and we are in the middle of a campaign, we will be having a status conference. That status conference will be handled through video conferencing. The business of government will not end.
Honorable Kenyatta, just a moment. Mr. Dida, you want to interject on this?
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
According to the culture of justice, if you are found suspected of a crime, the norms that we had is you step aside until you are cleared. If there is nothing with you and you are found not guilty, then you resume your office. Why is it different with Uhuru and his friends?
Okay, Honorable Kenyatta.
Let me state this. The position I am looking for is an elective position, not an appointive position. The position I seek is given by the people of Kenya through their democratic, which is their democratic right. And it is also my democratic right to present myself to Kenyans. They know full well the issues that I am confronted with. If they so choose to elect me, it means they have confidence in my ability to discharge my duties as president while still handling the case that is before me.
Thank you. And some of your opponents have raised the ICC issue as an integrity question in the campaign trail, and I want to bring in Martha Karua because you've been on record about the ICC question.
Yes, I consider it a matter of display of impunity. Like what the opponent, Mr. Ndida, has indicated. We have laws, the Public Officers Ethics Act. If you're just suspected of crime and you're a public officer, you're supposed to step aside to facilitate investigations. We have another law, the anti-corruption law. It demands if you're a public officer and you are charged with a criminal offense, you actually stand suspended. You have to be suspended pending the outcome. So since the charges were framed, my brother ought to have been suspended as a deputy prime minister, and if he gets elected president, the question is, are you going to be suspended before taking oath or after taking oath? Any Kenyan can go to court to challenge the position in office, because as our law stands, there is that hurdle. Yeah.
And Kenyatta has a right of reply to your remarks.
I want to be very clear again. The job that I seek is going to be given by the people of Kenya. The people of Kenya who full well know the personal issues that I am confronted with. If they so desire to still give me that job, and it is indeed my hope that they will, it means they have the confidence in my capacity to discharge my duties as president while still proceeding to clear my name. Secondly, I think we need to distinguish between an appointed position, of which that is not what I'm seeking, and an elective one. An elective one, not with anything hidden, but with Kenyans knowing full well the charges that are before me. So therefore, as far as I am concerned, and there is a case already in court, and I do believe that case will be heard, I think it's this week, and the issue of the integrity question will be, without a doubt, resolved.
And I'll give the rest of the candidates 30 seconds, starting with Peter Kenneth on the same issue.
Yes. First of all, I voted for the local tribunal, and we didn't succeed. Because I also feel we have put too much concentration on the 4 indicted persons. And we have many Kenyans out there who are still languishing in very poor situations arising from that event of the last election. For me, I would go with the presumption of innocence until proved guilty. I would like to defeat my brother in a proper electoral process rather than have him eliminated so that we can square the ball out squarely. But I also want to say this. Article 10 of our Constitution on national values and Chapter 6 are very key, and we need to address them even as we address the issue of ICC.
Thank you. Honorable Mudavadi.
Yes, I think this is a very delicate matter for the people of Kenya. One of the important things that we must figure out is that as we try to come to the next election, what is the destiny of the Kenyan nation? This is absolutely essential when we are conducting ourselves and conducting our politics. Nobody should actually be facing trial outside Kenyan soil. That is something I believe in, and that is something I also voted for,
but are you then
so that we wanted a local tribunal. But the point I'm trying to make here, and I want to make it very quickly, is that there are definitely implications on how the Kenyans will conduct their vote. This is something that we have to grapple with. They have a freedom to make the choice, but we are seeing dangerous signals that need to be thought through by the Kenyan people.
But 5 of you here were in that cabinet that failed to bring the trials to Kenya, make it a local process. Are you then admitting failure of leadership on your part?
We are not admitting failure of leadership on our part. I think we are dealing with a situation where people did not understand a situation at that particular moment in time. And I want to say that I, and indeed some of the people who are here, fought so forcefully to have this matter handled through a local mechanism. But there was also an equally potent member of our parliament, potent members of our parliament, who thought that they would rather have this thing handled outside. And they carried the day at that time. But on this one, I can tell you that quite a number of us stood for a local mechanism.
Right. Honorable Odinga.
Every Kenyan knows how I stood on this particular matter. Kofi Annan actually warned us about The Hague. And me and President Kibaki spent nearly 8 hours in Parliament trying to convince our colleagues to vote for a local tribunal. Unfortunately, 2 of my colleagues who are now in The Hague are the ones who led the campaign against a local tribunal. Unfortunately, I am the one who is now being accused of having taken people to The Hague, because nothing could be further from the truth. I do not want to eliminate any kind of competition That's why I would rather have my brother on the ballot. But I know that it will pose serious challenges to run a government by Skype from The Hague. I know that it's not practical. Thank you.
Honorable Moita.
My plea is to spare a thought for the victims, the 1,300 people, Kenyan people, innocent, who were murdered, who were killed, leaving behind relatives, the many women and men who were raped. Let us spare a thought for the victims. Let us also agree that we cannot continue with a culture of impunity. But having said that, the way to tackle the issue of impunity is to go to the highest levels where it is to be found. And I must say that as a lawyer, having read the Rome Statute, I know because the ICC cannot handle the cases of everybody or accused persons, jurisdiction is limited to those holding the highest responsibility. A Safina government would revisit the issue of jurisdiction. The Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, and he has not asked me to hold his brief, was not a presidential candidate. If you are going to charge 6 people, you must begin with number 1, number 2 to number 6. You cannot begin with 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I wonder whether there was blinking on the part of the office of the prosecutor. The Safina government would like to revisit that so that those holding the highest responsibility perhaps go to the dock there, the others can be dealt with here in accordance with the law.
Are you talking about presidential candidates and therefore the colleague to your right, Raila Odinga, it should be in the list?
Wow. 2 people were presidential candidates. It is impossible. You cannot persuade my mind or the minds of many rational people. But the 2 candidates did not know about it. It's only these other 4 Kenyans who are facing the charges there, and the 2 candidates did not have a clue about it. That is an issue I would want to see investigated. As a Safina government, we would revisit that issue.
Honorable Odinga, your response to that?
That is a most irresponsible statement that ever was ever made. Because my friend needs to know that investigation was carried out by a commission which was appointed through the Serena process, led by Justice Waki, which then produced the list of names which were handed over to Kofi Annan, who was the leader of the process. And then that list was handed over to Mr. Ocampo. Me, I don't fear, because I have nothing to hide. I know exactly what I did. And I know that I was not responsible. And I would be very willing to go to The Hague if Honorable Miti would want to take me there.
Yeah, Martha.
I just wanted to disprove that the 2 principals actually pushed for the local tribunal. I was Minister of Justice then. The entire cabinet passed the bill, but when I reached Parliament, they left me with the baby. The 2 principals, in spite of my pleas to them, failed to come and persuade members. They merely came to vote, and in their full view, there was rebellion, cabinet pushing people to vote, to refuse to vote for the local tribunal. So to put the record straight, the 2 principals did not stand in Parliament and persuade their troops to vote for the local tribunal.
And one of the principals is here, Raila
Right
Odinga.
here with us.
Yes.
Yes, you know, I really just want to jog the memory of my dear sister here. That first we had a joint PG meeting of PNU and ODM, co-chaired by President Kibaki and myself in the old chambers, pleading with the members to agree to vote for the local tribunal. This is on record, even the Hansard will bear us out, that we tried as much to persuade all the members to vote for a local tribunal. But the clarion call was, don't be vague, let us go to The Hague. Unfortunate.
But Prime Minister, why is it very difficult for a lot of people to believe your position on the ICC question? The common perception is you put a front that looks like you support a local process when indeed you wanted your opponents out of the country.
In fact, we first set up a cabinet committee on ICC, chaired by the late Professor Saitoti. I think it was the former Attorney General. There was also Tula Kilonzo, James Orengo, Amazon Kingi, and so on. They went first to Geneva,